Hey, 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 how's everyone doing? Today is Thursday. I hope everyone has had a wonderful week so far. And as for me, it's been pretty good. You all, this is my last week in this kitchen. This will be my last weekend in this kitchen. Now, I may try to squeeze another video in maybe on Sunday, but if not, it may be a week. But when I do come back, I will be in another kitchen. First of all, I would like for you all to come along with me and let's make some cube steak, onions, rice and gravy, green beans from the can, and some cornbread. I'll be back so we can get this started. I'm back, and the first thing we want to do is we're going to season this cube steak. And you all, it's 4 little pieces in here. This is one of my favorite meals. I could probably eat these 4 pieces in like 2 seconds. But anyway, we're just going to season them with the basic season, salt, pepper, and onion powder to bring out the beef's natural flavor. And no worries, I have washed my hands. I also wanted you all to see I have this can right here. I always look at the bottom for my expiration dates to make sure that those canned goods are still good. Okay, next we're going to do pepper. And we're going to do the same thing to each side. And because we have to sear these first, I'm also going to put flour on them. And the last seasoning we're going to use for these cube steaks is onion powder. And you all, let me know in the comments if you want me to try to squeeze a video in on Sunday. Since it'll be my last weekend in this kitchen. If you let me know in the comments and you want me to, I'll try to squeeze something in. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to turn these over and do this to the other side. You all, I have 2.5 cups of water and butter and salt to the side for my rice. I won't show you all how I make that because I've shown that a couple of times. Okay, you all, let's go ahead and do the same thing to this side. Our onion powder, our salt, and now our pepper. Okay, you all, I'm going to go and put some flour on this cube steak. I'll be right back so we can, once I get the flour on, I'll get the oil hot and I'll be back so that we can go ahead and start cooking the cube steaks. Okay, this is what the cube steak is looking like with the flour. So now all we have to do is go get the pan hot. I'll see you all when it's time to drop this in the oil. All right, you all, the oil is getting hot for the cube steaks. I wanted you all to see that I have my water, my butter, and my salt starting to boil for this long grain rice. Over here, I have my green beans on. In the green beans, y'all, I drained the water off of the green beans that was in the can. I put in a little bit of my own, and for seasoning I added butter, I added some pepper, I added onion powder, and just a little bit of soul food seasoning. Now I'll be back when it's time to start frying these cube steaks. All right, you all, I'm back. I hear the oil. It sounds like it's popping and cracking, but what I'm gonna do is take some of this flour and drop it in here just to see if it's ready. You all, I'm gonna give it like another few seconds. And you all, once we sear, all we're gonna do, we're not cooking this cube steak all the way through. We're just searing it on both sides, and then once we're done, we'll pull that out, put in our onions, let them saute, and we're gonna make homemade gravy, and make this cornbread, and that'll be it. Okay, you all, I'm gonna drop a little bit more flour. Okay, can you see it popping? Okay, and I think I'm only gonna be able to fit 2 in here at a time. So we'll start off with 2. And like I said, we're not cooking these all the way through. We're just searing them on both sides. Okay, you all, I'll be back when it's time to turn this over. Okay, you all, I'm going to go ahead and pull out the first two pieces. You can see what that's looking like. And like I said, we're not cooking it done, just really coating it on both sides. So we have two more, the last two to put in. Okay, and you all, while I'm standing right here, I'm going to go ahead and pour my rice back here in this water so it can do its thing. All right, you all, I'll be back when it's time for me to take these out. All right, you all, let's turn the last two over. And then I'm going to take you down in the pan real quick and let you see what it's looking like. And like I said, we're not cooking these all the way through. Just getting them done on each side. This is what the cube steak is looking like while it's frying in the pan. And the goal is just to get it brown on both sides. Okay, we're going to go ahead and pull this piece out. And I'll let this piece fry for just a few more minutes. And then I'll come back so we can go ahead and cook the onions. Okay, you all, this is the last piece. We're going to go ahead and pull this out. I'm going to strain off some of this oil out of the pan so we can let the onions cook a little bit, and then we'll start our gravy. All right, you all, I'll be right back to start the onions. All right, you all, this is what the finished cube steak is looking like. So now we're going to go ahead and put our onions in the pan. Okay, if you can see my pan, I've drained out most of the oil. The next thing I'm going to do is come in and put my onions in here. And you all, you can cut your onions up whatever size you like yours to be. However big, however small, however many you want, however little that you want. So I'm going to let these onions cook for just a few minutes, and we'll go ahead and start working on our gravy. All right, you all. Now, what you didn't see me do is, in this glass, I have flour, some cornstarch, and soul food seasoning. Now, to make my homemade gravy, I'm going to come in with just starting out with just a little bit of this. And you all, I don't have any measurements for this. This is just something, another one of those things I've cooked for a while. And I just know how to make it, you know, the way I know how to make it. Okay, so I'm going to let this flour get brown. Cook just a little bit. And I'll come back and we'll add our water in and then add the cube steak back in. All right, I have some water in a cup, and what I do is I add a little bit of water at a time. And you all, I've already seasoned this flour and this cornstarch. Now I can tell from this, I can go ahead and add all of the water that I have in this cup. We're going to let that cook for just a minute, and then we're going to go ahead and add our cube steaks in. But you all, I think I'm going to add just a little bit more of the cornstarch and flour and the water. Okay, you all, let me wipe this off. And because I have the soul food seasoning in here, I'm just gonna add like pepper to this gravy because the soul food seasoning, it has a lot of salt in it. So you all, I have added some water to that flour that I had to make this a little bit more. Okay, you all, I'm gonna let this come together a little bit, and I'll be right back when it's time to put the cube steak in the gravy. Now, as you all can see, this gravy is starting to form. So now what we're gonna do is we're just gonna put the cube steaks in here and let this cook. And you all, this is gonna cook, I'm gonna say 45 minutes to an hour because I like my cube steak to be tender. So all you're gonna do is just put your cube steaks into your gravy. I'm gonna cut this down just a little bit so that it can kind of like simmer as opposed to boil. All right, you all. That's it. Now we do is just let it cook. Now I'll be right back so we can go ahead and make the cornbread. I wanted to come in and show you all that my rice is done. And so are the green beans. All right, you all, I'm back and it's time to put this cornbread together. You all, I love this little Food Line cornbread mix. It's only about $1 and some change, and it's sweet, but it's not as sweet as Jiffy. Here I have my little pan shaped like a heart that I'm gonna cook the cornbread in. You see a piece of butter and a little bit of oil in here. I don't know why, you all, but my grandma taught me to do this, so I stick the pan in the oven till the butter and the oil melts, but I don't let it get too hot where it's like sizzling. Then you pull it out and mix it in the cornbread, but you'll see this process. So for this cornbread, you need 1 egg and 1/3 cup of milk. Now you all, I'm going to use water because you can use water. I have used it before and it doesn't take away from the flavor or the taste. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is, because I like my cornbread sweet, I'm going to add, maybe not that much, about this much sugar into this. I mean, a little tiny more. Okay, then I'm going to add in my 1/3 cup of water. And let me stick this pan, you all, in the oven so the butter and the oil can go ahead and melt. I have the oven preset to 400 degrees because that's what you're cooking on. Now all we have to do is just mix this together. Now when the butter and the oil comes out, I'll pour it in here, stir it, incorporate it with this cornbread mix, and then pour it back in the pan and stick it in the oven, and it has to cook for 10 to 12 minutes. I'll be back, you all, whenever I get the oil and the butter out of the stove. Let me show you what this mix is looking like so far. All right, you all, I'll be back when it's time to put this in the oven. All right, you all, as you can see, the oil and the butter has gotten hot, but not too hot. We're going to pour this in here. Hang on 1 second. And what you want to do is incorporate it fast so that the butter and the oil don't start cooking the cornbread. Okay. I'm going to stir this up. Can y'all see that? And then we're just going to take it. Get all of our mix out. Okay, you all, let me get a plastic spatula because that'll get the rest of that cornbread out better. Okay. Now, I don't want to lose any of this cornbread if I don't have to, because to me, it is so good. Okay, you all, now I'm just going to take and shake it so that all the mix touches the pan, and this is what it's looking like, you all. Okay, I'm about to stick this in the oven for 10 to 12 minutes, and I'll be back to show you all what it looks like when it's done. Okay, you all, the cube steak is still cooking. I just wanted to take you down in the pot to show you what it's looking like. And you all see this good old gravy. Okay, you all, I'll be back when the cornbread is done. This is the finished cornbread. I'll be right back so we can get our plate and taste the food. And you all, this is the finished cube steak. I'll be back so we can taste this and I can give the first bite to you. I'm back, you all, and this is my finished plate. Cube steak, rice and gravy, green beans, and cornbread. Now, let's go ahead and taste all of this. First, let's taste the green beans. And I'm going to give the first bite to you. Okay. Those are good. Nice and seasoned. Very good. Next, we're going to do the rice and the gravy. I'm going to give the first bite to you. And remember, this is our homemade gravy. Now, let's taste this. Okay, y'all, that's real good. Not too salty. It's just right. Okay? Next thing we're going to do is we're going to taste this cube steak. I'm hoping it's tender enough. Ooh, that I can break it with a fork. And guess what, y'all? It is. Okay? Well, first bite of this cube steak. Wait a minute. One more little piece to break. First bite of this cube steak goes to you. Now let me taste it. Yeah. This meal is good. Okay, and the last thing we're gonna taste, you all. This is cornbread. First bite goes to you. That's good too. You all, thank you so much for coming along with me to make this meal. We have cube steak, rice and gravy, green beans, and cornbread. I hope you all have a most wonderful evening, a most wonderful meal. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe.